Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Pop Culture Warrior. I am CQ and I am so excited for my guest today. My guest tonight is a writer and director of the new movie Do Justice, a new revenge thriller that follows a former Marine who hunts down the gang who killed his wife and daughter. He's also the creative force behind the award-winning feature film Regionrat, a film that has been praised for its authentic and raw depiction of adolescence in the Rust Belt. He is a filmmaker who's been making films since he was a teenager and has directed award-winning short films Junk Drawer, Legwork, and Scripter, with a passion for storytelling and a flair for creativity, which is definitely showcased in his latest film, which features some impressive action scenes and stunts. It is my absolute honor to introduce to you our incredible guest for tonight. Please welcome to the show, the amazing Javier Reyna, everybody. Oh man. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here, Javier. I love you coming from the green planet, whatever planet you're on. No, it's awesome. Yeah. We're going to have some fun with the green screen later. So first question I want to ask you, I ask all of our guests, what, if any, is your military connection?
Well, my military connection comes actually through my wife's dad. And it started because, we needed insurance. And she goes, we can use USAA. I'm like, what is USAA? And then I found out what USAA was. And I go, I want some of that. So anyway, we had married, and her father was part of World War II in a very small way. Her uncle was definitely seeing some action in World War II. So it was World War II connections, the stories, that's what I hear. That's it. The stories I hear. You know, the old guys who want to buy a Toyota, and
those guys are very important. We appreciate their service. So, let your wife know we appreciate her family's service, and it's awesome, great connection to have. So, here at the show, we're always talking about pop culture. What we geek out about, whether it's movies or TVs or toys or games or music, whatever it is. Outside of your passion for filmmaking, what do you geek out about?
Watching Messi play soccer.
Oh, okay.
That's what I wanted to do when I was little, and so I grew up. I can have given up on soccer, and then I watch this kid play for the last 15 years and still get goosebumps. So that is the other distraction I get, other than watching movies or writing movies or trying to make movies. Most of my time is spent on trying to make movies. Like 5 years, so I can direct a movie for 18 days.
Right. That's incredible. Out of curiosity, how do you feel about Messi playing in Miami right now?
Well, it's funny because I was very excited because I go, I'm never going to go to Barcelona. I'll be able to go pay $500 tickets and fly over there. So I go, okay, he's in Miami. It's not in Seattle where I am, but it's in Miami, right?
Close enough.
Well, now the tickets are $2,000.
It would have been cheaper to fly over there to get.
They went from $30 to up like, $300, $400, $600 for the crappiest tickets next to the pigeons. But it's been fun seeing him come. And obviously, I love soccer. So anybody that gets excited about soccer, it gets me excited. And I saw what went on in Miami. And I'm like, it looks like a great thing going on over there.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us a little bit of background before we dive into this movie, just your history, kind of where you came from, and kind of how you got into the filmmaking business.
I actually was born in California, in Glendale, California. My parents had moved up here from Mexico, basically to have me, because they didn't want Pop to know what was going on with the flower child. And so I was born in California. And then eventually my parents, talked to their parents, and they moved back. So I grew up in Mexico. And my mom was just a film addict. And she will take me to the movies at least 3 times a week. and she will do it in these double shows where you pay one ticket and see 3 movies, you know. And sometimes that was been her and the Ten Commandments back to back, and I will be 5 watching those things. So I did that for a long time, and then when I was 11, she snuck me to watch Jaws. She totally snuck me out. I wasn't allowed to get in, and I remember she passed me like this behind the guy checking the tickets, and that blew my mind. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't understand what's happening to me, but I want to do that. And I went out and went straight to Sears, where Sears used to sell records and cassettes, and I bought the John Williams cassette. And I listened for hours, and I started drawing the images, and I wanted to do is just, I don't know. I couldn't explain what it was, but it just what I feel like. I love that. Mm. But, you know, I went through upside downs of forgetting about it and all that stuff.
Sure. So immediately were you drawn to the idea of filmmaking, like the magic of making the movie? Because I know I've talked to some actors and they'll say the same thing, right? I saw the movie and I saw this person and he was becoming someone else, and like I wanted to do that. So for you, was it about the characters or the just kind of the magic of the movie?
Always about the characters. You know, you can have great movies, but they can't be great without great characters. And I just remember those 3 characters, Chief Brody and Hooper and Quinn, and the dialogue, even though it was subtitled, for me, it was all subtitled at that point. I didn't speak any English back then because I was so little. And I was just taken by the characters, and I wanted to be Hooper. And I wanted to know what it's like to be an oceanographer. And where do I sign up for that? This must be exciting. And then you watch another movie, you know, Backdraft. And I want to be a fireman now. And I started thinking, you know, I think what I like is the idea of pretending and doing these stories. And then I went to take some drama classes, and the instructor told me, you know, dude, this is not for you. You got to try somewhere else. And then I thought it might be directing and created my own thing until I was 17. I got to be in a set in Mexico for a movie, and I was an extra. And I saw the cinematographer and the director stressing out, you know, chain smoking and freaking out about everything. And I remember thinking, oh, fuck that. I'm not doing that shit. It just looked too stressful. And I saw the actors, and the actors were just tired, also in a couch sleeping because they work all night somewhere else, and us the extras were just chilling, eating shit. I'm like, I'm just gonna be an extra. But the job of the director and the DP, I remember thinking, that looks like shit. That looks miserable. And then I spend the rest of my life trying to do that.
It's something about it, man. It's stuck to you, and it called to you. Is it as miserable as you remember it? As you remember, are you chain smoking?
Yes, but it's weird. It's a little masochism, a little bit. It's like when I'm on the spot, I'm just sucking it all up. I'm not laughing. I'm not smiling. I'm on a monitor, but I'm talking to the actor, and anybody talks to me, I'm off. And I forget to eat. I own 10 Cokes a day during production. And then I'm waiting for that moment. In the movie, there is a scene where I'm going to start plugging the movie. Sorry.
Sure, please.
That's the point. There's a scene where Santiago talks to Kellan in the interview room. Mm-hmm. And they come a little bit of a heart-to-heart. Max asks him directly, you know, what will you do if something happened to you? Mm-hmm. And then you see the response of it and the anger, and I go, and I start seeing the magic of the feelings coming out because my friend looks so friendly and happy and perky all the time. And you start seeing the darkness coming out. And then that's when I'm watching that scene, and then I'm starting to feel like a high. And it's over, and I feel exhausted. So it's when you look back, you're like, oh, that was fast. Did I enjoy it? I don't know. But I cannot need more of that.
Like, I don't know if I enjoyed it, but I definitely did it. I did do it.
The sad thing is, if you take me out of context, that could sound really wrong for many, many reasons.
Sure.
But I'm talking about exclusively making a low budget movie.
We'll fix it in the post. We'll cut some stuff together, and we'll make it really work. So so let's talk a little bit about Do Justice, because I watched it. It's a wonderful film. I got a lot of feelings. Obviously, I'm a big, superhero movie. And so there's just kind of like elements of that, almost like the Punisher, right? Like the punishing the bad and kind of thing and, fighting for justice and these things. And so I enjoyed it greatly. So let's start from the beginning. Kind of what inspired you to write this movie and to direct this movie? For people, it's a revenge thriller about a former, I think, was he Navy or Marine? Marine who hunts down the gang that kills and kidnaps his wife and daughter. What inspired you to write and direct this?
It was easy. The name was Adam Lanza. When I heard that Adam Lanza had gone into a elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut, Sandy Hook, and did what he did. I had at the time little kids. This is 10 years ago. They were 11 or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, but I had little kids, and I would take them to school every day. And right after that happened, I saw the little kids playing in the yard. And when they're little, they hold hands to go to the bathroom. They put them in a line. And it was so sweet. And I just started bawling, man. And it just bothered me. And I'm like, I feel so useless. You can't do anything about it. Then the fucker killed himself. So you can't even get a pleasure of punch him in the... I don't know what it is. And then I kept thinking, it could have been my kids. And because it could have been my kids, that means it could have happened to me in this nice neighborhood too, where I was, which I felt very safe. But again, everybody in Sandy Hook felt very safe. And what would I do to happen to me? Would I be one of those parents that I'm all about love and forgiveness or what? And I thought, I don't think I could come back from that. I don't know why. Maybe it's just survival of a species. I don't know, but I feel like I will definitely lose my shit. But then, I'm not Batman. I don't have any skills. I don't know how to fight. What am I gonna do? Go and blow somebody's tire? But I remember having moments in my life where I was so angry, I wanted to hurt somebody, and I go, maybe go start fucking tired. You just get all these thoughts, but you don't act on them because you're an adult and you're like, fuck it, right? You gotta let it go. But at that point, I was like, well, what if I didn't let it go? And that's where the movie came from. And then it was his character, or could I be restrained, like feeling the same thing I'm feeling, like probably Detective Santiago feels like. I would like to do all this shit. I'm a fucking cop and I got to follow these fucking rules and all these things. Or would I lose it like the other guys? That's where they came from. I don't even know where he was going at that time, Right. I just kept going with that flow. And then what would hurt me more? And then the character of Jeff Fahey came out. And then once I had those two,
I love it because you can hear the passion in the voice of people that like excited about their work, and it gets me off. I love it. So no, you have all these great characters, right? Because you've got Max, who's this, first of all, gorgeous guy. I mean, very handsome, chiseled, and you're like, okay, I can see ex-military. He's got the vibe, but when we first meet him, he's very. He's quiet, unassuming, he was like a real estate agent or something like that. And so you're like, okay, this is just a normal guy. And then, you meet this cast of characters and kind of tying back into what you said earlier about just how the characters make the movie and the scenes. And first off, I have to say, the villain, Ellis, man. That guy, I mean, just chewed up every scene he's in. Like, I was all about it. Every scene he's in, I'm like fully dialed in. Like, because like, please tell us more about it. Because my thing was, I never knew where he was gonna go. Like, because he such a range. It was wild to watch.
Well, it was easy because I've seen plenty of bad guys. And I always think that a good movie is a movie where the bad guy is more interesting than the good guy. And you use examples in The Line with Fire with John Malkovich. Yeah. It's fascinating. The Dark Knight, that's why the Joker is so amazing. Yeah. So I just definitely didn't want a guy in a black suit yelling at guys to kill somebody or to run or to go get him. Yeah. So I go, let's make this guy somebody who's a little more mature. And now he's trying to enjoy the money and the corporation, because it's also sort of a corporate ladder. You start here, El Chapo started here and end up being at the top, right? So Chapo was like the CEO of the company. So I go, but I don't think it's that easy. How would that happen in the modern world? So I go, well, maybe he's got a boss who micromanages and talks some shit like we all did. I sold cars. I was treated like shit. So I go, it'll be interesting, a guy who's so angry and so vengeful and so experienced and has to take shit from this lady.
No,
he was just holding, all the anger inside.
Yeah, it's so good, man. Like, cause there's moments where you're like, oh, he's very quiet and reserved, and he's poised, and there's a scariness about him because he's so just held together. And then there's just moments of these outbursts that are just like, whoa, that makes it even more scary. Probably one of my favorite villains of the year. I really dug his performance. And so speaking about characters, how do you approach, because this is something I've always been very fascinated about, how do you approach the casting process, right? What qualities are you looking for when you have a vision of these characters in your head and you want to bring them to life with these actors? What are you looking for?
Okay, let's try to think of something. Right now, for instance, I'm working on a film called American Revision. I finished writing, it's ready to go. And it's a time travel / death wish kind of situation. It's fun, it's adventure, and it's like a roller coaster. So I had just worked with Kellan. So I had this idea for this movie, and let's say Kellan is this professor. So how would Kellan say these things? How would it come out of his mouth? And maybe he likes a different character, but I got, he's pretty centered. He doesn't go this way. So how do I push him to go this way? And I start writing the character, thinking how he would talk. The character has a partner who's a lady. And I was trying to figure out, okay, what do I want this lady? And then I was remembering, oh, you know what? There's a show on Netflix called The End of the Fucking World, which I liked a lot. Yeah. And especially in the second season, this girl, Jessica Barton, is in that show. And I was like, oh, that's her. That's the character I need. So I put him in the role with a British accent. And then all of a sudden I kind of let her just ramble. And I started talking conversations, and then I had to go back and cut down shit. But I tried just to see what else will come out of her mouth if it was her talking. And that's kind of good. I don't follow rules. I wasn't an intellectual. I didn't go to college to write. It just came out of the need of, I got to write something, or I'm never going to make a movie, because nobody's offered me to do anything. Nobody's saying, hey, you want to direct my movie? So I had to write. So I don't have the experience to do it properly, the 3 acts and all that. I just tried to write a movie that I want to watch.
Right.
I go, that will be great. Kellan and Jessica did this and did this movie. That will be so much fun to watch. And then I go, I need a supporting role. Oh, man, somebody like Giovanni Ribisi or Paul Giamatti will be so cool. And then I pick one and I start writing, how would Paul Giamatti say these things? And then the actor will come out. And then I won't share, Paul Giamatti will say it like this, because that will be saying, fuck you. I bring an actor, let's say Jeff Fahey, and then he reads it. And then he interprets that way, his own way. And then he goes and poof, delivers. That happened with Jeff, because for Jeff, I actually had somebody else in mind.
Right.
And then that person got COVID. And then Jeff came and took over the role.
Wow.
And I came to talk to Jeff, and I go, hey, Jeff, let me tell you about the role. He goes, I already read the script. So here, I read, the description was good. I get this. And I go, okay, but you don't know what I wanted. I sat there and we said action. The guy does it. I'm like, oh my God.
So you're saying there's situations where you have an idea of what you want, and then the performance is elevated. It's heightened more than what you want.
Of course. Make me look good.
He did a bang-up job. So speaking of some of the actors in there, a good friend of our show, he's been on our show, Efren Ramirez is in the movie. Oh. He plays the cop. He's been on the show. Efren he's a character, like just the guy himself. I mean, so full of energy. And something that struck me, I guess, because I've conversed with him, man to man. This character that he's playing is so pulled back. It's so withdrawn. It's so depressed cop at the end of his rope, kind of just like fuck it. I don't care. I just don't. And it's so against his type, I guess, as a person.
Yes, exactly.
Like, how was that managing that on set, right? Like, no, more depressed. Like, how did you get him to get there?
He's a hard worker. To get to that point, I'm the kind of person, I write a script and then I have another idea and I go clean it and I send you a new script a week later. And then everything I fix, I want to make sure you have the latest thing. And that will drive him crazy because from the first script I sent him, one day he went like this and he has like a writings everywhere. No, it's a question mark. So it was his Bible. And when I saw it, I'm like, that's creepy. I mean, he had so much shit. It was like a stalker kind of work there. And then when he got to Seattle, because he's in LA, he went out walking, talked to people, talked to cops, talked to homeless people, just to get a feeling of, because never been in Seattle. So by the time we were shooting, he's like, dude, I already know all these guys. I went to eat over here. So, and again, those things are, as a director and a writer, I go, thank you for caring for realism. And I don't know, a lot of people thought it will be just trying to get the comedy in. There was more comedy in the movie. There's less than I wanted, actually. I wanted to be a little more of a 80s retro Lethal Weapon, but they wanted more of a serious tone. But we had a lot more scenes with a friend where with his own personality just chuckles you, like when he found himself in his car by the airport. Very simple scene. He wakes up and he doesn't have to say anything, but you look at him, you're like, God, he gives you something. But then when he talks to his wife, you see that big heart wanted to come home.
Yeah.
And then we'll finish the scene and he'll go and vomit.
Wow.
I mean, he was like sweaty, and I mean, he will give it all. Every scene he did, he gave it 100%.
Wow. That's incredible.
So I'm glad, because I loved working with him.
Yeah, he's for sure a character. We have people in the chats that are like, he is definitely not the depressed type. He's full of life, full of energy. The sign of a really good actor. That's what people, which by the way, guys in the chats, if you have questions for Javier, please put them in and I'll make sure to ask. He's so giving of his time and he's answering all of our questions. There was some really cool action in the movie, right? There's some sword fighting, there's some gunplay, there's some car stunts. What was it like for you kind of creating all those actions and the action scenes and the stunts? Maybe what were some of the challenges or risks that were involved in making them happen?
The biggest challenge is it starts always with the budget, because it tells you how much you can go. So when I had the idea of our character throwing the little the grenade into Vasquez's feet, I mean, I wanted to blow out, a building. And they told me I couldn't do it because this was a historic area in Seattle.
Sure.
And obviously, we're not going to do that. So I said, well, what is the best thing we can do? Well, how about we open the door, we use an air cannon for some debris, blow it out, and then we can put in post some flames or something like that. Oh, all right, well, is that the best we can do? Yeah, let's do it. And they go, well, the city doesn't want us to throw anything in the street because it's not going to be good. And then the homeless people are going to go crazy because they're back there. Oh, so I had to do a little CGI, but that's not going to look so real. So those are the things you're like, but it's really out of your hands sometimes. And then you try to, find something else that might make up for that. And regarding the action sequence, there's not a lot of action in the movie. And that's purposely because I don't feel very comfortable with action. I feel a lot more comfortable with emotional bits. But the movie needed to have some action, so I wanted to create more of a, not so much as a suspense, but something that keeps you thinking, where is this going, and how each one is handling It was for me more about the characters and the plot itself.
Yeah.
I wanted to spend time with each one of them. This is what it's like with this guy, this life with this guy, this life with this guy, rather than the whole plot of who did what.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we see that because, and again, I don't want to spoil anything in the movie, but the gang are definitely made up of very eccentric characters. I can't narrow it down, right? We've got male, female, we got white, black, it runs the gamut. They're all psychotic in their own specific way, which is very interesting because it was like an onion. I kept peeling back layers. I'm like, oh, this person's really crazy. Okay. And I see they're into this kind of thing. Oh, okay. How do you balance when you're writing this stuff? How do you balance the emotional scenes, with like the psychological, right? Because there's violence. There's very, very violent and the subject matter, we're talking about kidnapping kids and selling organs, right? Organs. How do you balance all that?
Well, for instance, in the case of those guys, first, I didn't want to go again with generic henchmen. I figure everybody's somebody. Everybody has their own issues. Even if you're working for a gang, you must be somebody. So as we were casting, I just found people that were interesting for different reasons or whatever they brought to the audition. One example is Chelsea Lopez. She came and she read the character and she goes, is it okay if I try this? Is it okay if I can? And she wanted to do her own clothes. And she got there to the set and started cutting her clothes. And she came out with you can see she's got like a pink turtleneck cut around her boobs. And I'm like, honey, this is not that kind of movie. You don't have to do that for me. I want you to dress whatever you want. I thought the producer, somebody told him, oh, you got to show something. And she goes, no. I like it. I feel confident. I want to wear this. I go, all I'm saying is you don't have to. She goes, oh my God, you're the first director who doesn't want me to show my boobs. I go, I'm just saying is you can do what you want. You just don't have to do it. And then she went ahead and started cutting these clothes. In every outfit you see, she took it from, our custom department and kind of put it together the way she thought it looked cool. And she rocked every outfit. But she's fucking crazy.
For people that know like Harley Quinn, very just off completely disassociated from reality, kind of crazy. And I love that was part of the character that I did love, that you could tell like this is a person that's made their own clothing. Like this is a crazy person.
And again, as an actress, man, she will be with her headphones. She had a playlist specific for this role. And she will say, just tap me in the shoulder when you're ready. And I go, action, take the headphones and boom. So working with focused actors, obviously that's a gift because then I can just sit back and just let them do their thing. They don't want to be told what to do. And I don't want to tell people how to act. I don't know how to act. How am I going to tell them? So these guys just let them do their job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that. They're the actor. There. I mean, as the director, you are trying to get a certain thing out of them, but you got to let them do their process, I guess, is what it is.
Yeah, somebody told me one time, you know what directing is? Fixing all your fuck ups during casting, and that stuck to me. I go, okay, yeah, because if you cast well, chances are things might go pretty smooth.
I like that. I've been doing this for many years, and there's very few times where I like that. That's a great saying. I'm gonna keep that one. Pocket that one. We did have a comment from Kaz. He says he saw Junk Drawer and he cried like a child, and he just wanted to say you do incredible work.
Okay, thank you, because that's a dark horse. I wonder. Is he from Indiana?
Let us know if you saw it because you're from Indiana. Military people.
It was a short film I did from a professor who was very frustrated with the high school system. And he had something where I call it the junk drawer, where kids in high school, they're not very successful either because they're trouble or family or something, but they still kind of pass the grade. They give them passing grades to move it along. Because they need to make room for the ones in the back. So that's when I figure they put them in a junk drawer. That's what they're doing. We do it later. That's what you do. What am I doing? I'll do it later. And that's what that movie is. A short film written by one of these professors, and it was very yeah, but it was sad. It was sad.
He did say he's
Well,
from
thank you.
Illinois. He's from Illinois, so there you go. Close enough.
Yeah.
So you brought up a great point that I wanted to ask about. So with a film like this, and I know it was released by, I think it was Saban Films. How do you go about when you're writing this and you're like, okay, I want to bring it to life? How do you go about funding it and distributing it, and what's that process like for you?
Honestly, I was just doing the same thing I've been doing for years, which is write a script and send it out. Somebody will like it, and I've done it for years. I did it with Regionrat. Regionrat was optioned several times. I spent 10 years trying to make it for $2-3 million, and then eventually talked to the book's author, and I said, I can't do this anymore. So I'm driving Uber. Let's put some money together. I call a cousin. I call somebody. We put like $50,000 and made the movie. So I was planning that I was going to try to get, I don't know, $100,000 to $200,000 and make this movie. And then I sent the script to Moctezuma Esparza, who I knew for several years, and I kept pitching him stuff through the years, but nothing really had worked out. And then he says, I'm going to take a look at this, and I'm just joining this company with this guy, and that was Elias Axume, the producer. And Elias had read the script and looked at the project. He goes, I like it. I think we're going to do it. And I was, I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, we're going to do it. So, like, here's the contract. Yeah, here's your fucking contract. Yeah. I didn't believe it until I was like, oh, we are making the movie. And we had to wait because obviously they had other projects. So it was June last year. I'm like, is it really going to happen? Because it could be the last minute and it still could fall apart.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the process, really. Just write it and let's hope that somebody who has the know and the how and the who can get it done.
I've heard, I have a couple of friends of mine that are writers in Hollywood and things, and like they've said, oh, I was on a project and we were doing scouting locations, we're doing casting, we're doing fitting, and then it's gone and it doesn't exist anymore.
It happens all the time, and even after shooting for a few days, and it's over.
Oh man, I can't imagine, putting so much of yourself and the heart. Like I had someone tell me, it's like you said, it's very sadomasochistic, where it's like you're constantly hurting yourself because it's a business of rejection, right?
Oh yeah. I've taken so many. I don't think I could be an actor for that reason as well, because for an actor, I mean, if you go to 20 auditions and you nail one, you will be doing better than anybody else. But you have to just keep going. And it's not like people say you hear no's. You don't hear anything. They just go, thank you, we'll see you later. And you walk away. Like, did they like it? Did I do this 20 times a day? Oh God, I don't think I could do that.
It's the lack of closure, right? That's what it is. Right. Like I would rather someone tell me, hey, you're not what we're looking for. I'd rather that than just nothing. Yeah,
because all you're gonna hear eventually is somebody got it. And I always tell this to young actors. Whoever casting director was there did see you. Mm. So still do your best audition, because the next time she might go, not this guy, but there was that guy last time. Mm. I don't know how often it happens, but it has to happen. I mean, if I was a casting director, that's what I would do. Remember who's good, who can I recommend, stuff like that. So yeah, the rejection is the hardest thing for everybody. That's why not everybody makes it, those actors or stars. At a certain point, they cut a break, but they have to take all those doors in their faces.
So for something like Do Justice, when you're writing it, so we understand, where the inspiration came from and things, what are some maybe influences and references that you kind of use for making it, right? There's a lot of revenge thrillers out there, right? What is it that you wanted yours to kind of stand out from the rest of them?
I wanted to have characters. I wanted to have a character that maybe somebody will say, I want to watch the movie again. There was this character I liked. That's the only reason sometimes I watch movies again. It's never the plot. It's always like, oh, I want to see, oh my God, remember that guy? Like I was talking to Dermot Mulroney, which has been in so many movies, plug these things in. And I was talking to him about Smith. He plays this character called Randall, which is a waterbed salesman. And the guy is so amazing. Just blows your mind.
Yeah, it's incredible. I guess there's obviously some pretty heavy themes in this, in child trafficking and obviously the gang violence and all this. Is there a certain message that you're hoping people kind of walk away with it? Is this a movie that you're just hoping, okay, we unplug, we enjoy the ride, and it's over, or do you want something to kind of stay with the viewer?
Well, one thing that I make a point is with the three of them is the three of them were parents, and two of them had losses, and each one handled it very differently. But something that really stuck to me was that conversation that Kellan has with a friend. When a friend says, I'm always busy, but when I'm with my kids, it's all quality time. And Kellan at that point, Max at that point, the character, he realizes that it's just all bullshit. It's kids want to be with you every day. Even parents, they're assholes. The kids always want to be with them. Your kids need you. They don't need that quality fancy time. They just need you around.
Yeah.
And I was lucky because I had such a shitty career. I was a stay-at-home dad. That's why I'm old. I'm still a late bloomer, but I mean, I saw my kids going to elementary school every day. Took them to school, walking back, had all the stuff that so many people don't get. And then when I did Regionrat, then I learned more about how these kids live in some areas where it was especially harder in the 90s before the internet, where these kids have just nothing to do, no dreams. They're in a little town, they feel trapped. And if you make it to work at McDonald's, that will be amazing. And again, when I researched Regionrat, and I realized that so many kids are too young to be on their own without parents really guiding them. Either the parent is broke and he's working 3 jobs, or they're addicts somewhere and they don't pay attention, or they're too rich and they don't pay attention. But all that area from Gary and the way he was spreading all that life, I thought it was really sad. And then as I showed the movie, people tell me, oh my God, there's a section in Pittsburgh just like that. There's a section in Hammond, Canada, just like that. Yeah. Like the problem was that, parents, sometimes we drop the ball really bad. And I think that causes a lot of it. We can blame teachers and everything, but I think we drop the ball a lot.
No,
so I would like to say, people, spend time with your kids.
That's a beautiful message. Beautiful message. I've got a 6-year-old. I have to remind myself all the time that, look, we got to work to live. We don't live to work, right? You gotta enjoy the time that you have. Give us a tease. What are you working on now? What's on the horizon? What's in the future? What can we look out for?
Well, I got American Revision, which is the time travel I told you. I have The Room Above, which is a movie I've been writing since '96. It was partially based on a book by Emile Zola called Therese Rakan. And I adapted it, and then I didn't like it because it was very Shakespearean. Everybody dies with poison or some shit. And I wanted to have a little more American feeling. And then I wanted to do this. And again, I started thinking about characters. So it's a murder drama. It's a really serious, kind of like in the bedroom kind of murder drama. Serious. Then I have another psychological murder drama about a sane guy caught in an insane asylum in the 60s, and he can't leave. That's another one. And then I have a comedy. So I got shit coming out of my butt. It's just about getting it done. But I got stuff.
Lots of stuff. Well, you got to make sure you come back so we can promote all the other stuff. Like I said, I really enjoyed Do Justice. I love a good action movie. I love a good psychological, a thriller. It had a lot of elements of all the things that I love, and the characters were great. The writing was great. Just truly a wonderful film, and I hope people go out and check it out. Javier, man, thank you so much for taking the time. I hope you had a good time. I hope you're going to come back again in the future, bud.
Thank you so much, guys. Well, if I come back, it's because you invited me, because I made another movie. So I hope I do. And thank you for the time. Thank you for watching the film. And for anybody who wants to watch the film, it's coming up on the 24th and pretty much everywhere, and even some theaters in LA, New York, and Chicago. Thank you for watching. And and feel free, please, if you watch the movie, write a critic. Go to IMDb or Amazon. I don't care. I don't care if it's bad. If you don't like it, well, let me know. That way I know, okay, that sucked. People won't like that. But if you just let the famous guys tell you the movie's not good, it's good, I want to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, hear from the people in the street. Do you do any social media? Can people follow you? Can people interact with you?
I have an account on Instagram. It's 1964 Films. 1964 Films, Instagram. That's
there you go. There you go.
I'm a dinosaur, man.
Yeah, man. Smart. It's all shit. It's all negative shit. So you're smart. Stay far away. Trust me. But all right, guys, this has been Javier Reyna. Go check out Do Justice everywhere, November 24th, and we'll definitely have him back in the future when he has more stuff to talk about. So once again, thank you, and we're gonna toss to a quick break. And we'll be back with more show right after this.
Thank you, everybody, for the service.
Go ahead. I'll give you 2 seconds here to just get your piece.
I mean, I my whole heart and respect to every member of our military, and thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much.
Man. Nah, we appreciate you, bud. All right, guys, we'll be back with more right after this. Shots.